な敵を選んで戦う少年叶えたい未来もなくて夢に描かれ
What
る
an
のを待って
absolute
た
banger.
そのくせ
Dude, am I giving Peaches a 27 third for Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Is this the lore we need?
I think it could be good for the brand at this point.
Yeah, that would be on brand.
It'd be very on brand. And then you could flip Blackshear for the third back. I mean, that is five hit moves, dude.
But it's 5 head. I don't think Joe would care, to be honest.
Probably not. How we feeling, buddy? How you doing today?
I'm good. I'm tired. But we're chilling. I got up early today, get some work done. Da 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 da.
Good state life. All right, buddy. We're gonna hop right into it. I heard a
Okay.
lot of claims this vacation that we all took. Explain to me the claims you have made that this league will die in a few years.
Yeah,
Wow, are
death
these
to the league.
blockbusters? Are you not entertained?
I'm entertained. I am. I am I'm a very known fucking rat in this league, and I feel like my toxicity is coming out in tenfold, and I think I'm just playing into it. League is never dead. We're all too passionate about the league, but sometimes, I'll throw it out there, see what happens.
That's fair. Even our beloved Jill Menti even said good guess. She's a fan of the league, a fan of the pod. Um, we'll just talk about some off-season trades here quick. Give your 2 cents. Last night, I would say the biggest trade in history went down.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that one?
Uh, I like the trade for all three parties. I believe. I think Scro has made it pretty well known that he's trying to go for it one more year. I think Tyreek Hill's a good ad there. Tyreek seems like he's looking to get an extension, so sounds like he's going to play football for a little longer. Um, it seems like we have some individuals, maybe a few that are not loving the trade for Pipe. But I think we've learned that 3 firsts for pretty much any player is good value. It's just on Pipe to you know figure out what he wants to do with it. Dom made some moves with his, Drescher made some move with his, so Pipe's either he probably I don't know. I don't want to say what he should or shouldn't do, but he's definitely got to do something potentially. I like it for you. Think it was a good you know Tyreek and a first is a lot. Um, and just a tear down to get the I mean not a tear down, but a lateral move to get some youth is good on your end. So I liked it.
All right. And then our other two big blockbusters that I'll let you talk about here are obviously the 101 moving twice. Um, Brian, fan of the pod, league member, thinks you hate him. You can kind of touch on if you think he made a good deal for the 101 to Dom initially, and then kind of how you feel about the trade between Matt and Dom and your initial thoughts if you
Do
thought Dom would ever move it.
do we think Brian listens to the podcast?
Yes, he does. I think he does.
Brian, I do not hate you. I'm like I just said, I'm toxic, and sometimes you do things that piss me off. But in all fairness, I'm arguably the worst person in our league at this point, so don't take it too seriously. I personally didn't love the move originally for Brian. Um, this is gonna sound stupid, but I don't care. I feel like it was kind of like free for Dom. It kind of felt like Dom was just getting a free Marvin Harrison because he just happened to have that first, and it was like what a first, Zach Charbonnet, a second,
27 first, the 201, I think another second.
and then Dom got the 101 and the 115.
No, Brian kept the 115, so I'm not exactly sure. I can try and pull it up.
Can we do a quick check? Because I don't want to say it's. I don't think it was terrible for Brian. Obviously, getting value. I think it's. We have a little bit of insight into next year's draft, and I don't. Obviously, you're giving up like potential goat, which it's hard to get them, and just for the opportunity to like maybe get that first, and then even if you do get the 101, like the players there are just like they're just not Marvin Harrison, so that's kind of where I just didn't like it. It seemed like a very easy move for Dom to make, to be honest. It didn't seem hard.
Okay,
So
so Dom got the 101 and 115, like you said. He ended up trading it back to him in a subsequent deal. Brian got Zach Charbonnet, the 213, 201, 301, his own 25 first back, Dom's 27 first, and the 305.
okay, yeah. So I mean, like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff there, but like, and a
He
deal
got
for
the
the
two. He got
101.
the 216. That's what it was. And then he got Brian gave him the 216 with the 101, and then he sold him Max Crosby to get the 216 back.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah. I'm not gonna say like there's no rapage or anything. I just think it was free for Dom to do, and it made it just that was an easy trade for Dom. And then Matt coming in clutch in the did not expect. I did not think Dom was gonna move it, to be honest with you.
Me neither. I was
I
surprised.
didn't. I know Dom full transparency. I do not think this was bad. I think this is a fine deal for you. I think it's a very fair deal. Obviously it's easy to look at receivers and see them as the longevity and how valuable they are, and they are. But like in a 14-man league, a stud running back is just so difficult to get. And he's obviously a stud running back who's got a lot of years left, like most likely. So I thought it was a good deal for him for sure. And I feel like from a championship perspective, I feel like most people that we've seen win our dynasty leagues at this point have had depth at the running back position. Kind of puts them over the edge. So I like that for Dom. I'd like it more for Matt. Not even that it was like better, like from a value perspective for Matt. I just think in Matt's situation, he now gets, he now has a great core of wide receivers. So like Matt can, in theory, actually start thinking about making a competitive roster in the next 2 years. So I thought it was really good for Matt to make that move.
For sure. Let me ask you something. As you know, our group chat popped off a little bit. I think it's a good move for Pike. I understand moving a top wide receiver is tough, like you said. I mean, three firsts is basically the equivalent of $225 for the buy-in. So I think it's good value. I don't think that was the argument. It just should Pike do it. Um, do you think it's good for the league to see someone kind of um, Pipe's obviously kind of not wanting to contend anymore. Do you think it's good that we finally have someone who may be willing to sell off some of these pieces to someone like Matt or Joe if they make, or even you? You know what I mean? Because I feel like Derner was kind of in this position that Pipe is in last year, and he kind of dug in and refused to sell. So do you think that while some people are like, "Oh, it's stupid, Pipe shouldn't have done it," do you actually think that this could be a good thing for the league? If you get what I'm saying?
No, yeah. I mean, yes. I'm more in the middle on this trade. I don't think at the end of the day, this isn't reality. We just play in a game we all love and are passionate about. And if Pipe truly doesn't think he is competitive, then it shouldn't be on us to judge him for that. If he wants to sell his players, then he can. Um, I think it's good value. I mean, it's not like he got your first. It's not like he got Dom's first. I mean, Stroh, by all intents and purposes, is not like the best team. Tyreek Hill helps, but you know, in 2 years, his first could be fucking awesome. His first next year could be awesome, and he gets his own back for this year. I think if Pipe wants to rebuild or retool, then yeah, that's fine. And I think to your point, it's really good now because in theory, we could potentially get his players. Now it comes down to, can we actually talk to him? Can we actually get his players for a reasonable price or an overpay? But is he actually going to do it? That's kind of what we got to see at this point. A better Pipe do it than fucking Derner because Derner is not trading anybody at this point.
Yeah, I went to Turner first.
Pipe's at least got some trades under his belt.
I went to Turner first, and I offered him the three firsts, and he wanted like Mark Andrews or Garrett Wilson or like somebody kind of, or like Zay Flowers for CD, and I was just like,
Yeah,
no,
it's definitely better Pipe than Derner. It's Pipe. Yeah, yeah. No, I think you know three firsts is absolutely good value, and it's just a matter of what is he gonna do? I mean, he could sit on Scrolls or he can do whatever he wants. I think it's fine. I think Pipe's roster was pretty good. I thought it was, but like it was not like stud level. I don't know.
I thought it was last
So
year, but I think just too much went wrong in a 1 year sample where,
yeah, Rashad White's not like guaranteed
yeah,
anything this
there's a
year.
lot of question marks. I just think sometimes it's good to kind of
Cooper Cup is literally like I bet Cooper Cup's good this year, but it's probably downhill from here. I don't know. I haven't really thought about Stephon Diggs much, but I mean, I that could be just a fucking flat on your face player right there. So I don't, whatever. The
And
time.
then, yeah. And then, what do you think about the Stroud deal? That's the last one we'll cover. That was kind of just popped up out of nowhere, and Dom sent Trevor Lawrence, Musgrave, and Derner's 2025 first for Stroud and Brandon Cooks.
Um, I don't know. I feel like so Dom obviously just wanted to get the stud, and I think from a value perspective, Stroud is just gonna go up. So like I totally get that trade. I actually don't hate it for I don't like it for Joe just because it's actually fine to also keep your players. So like if Stroud is actually him, which I think a lot of people think, then it probably would have been beneficial for him to keep Stroud and like knowing the way that Rainville is doing his dynasty right now. It's not really doing anything with these first, so I feel like he's just adding another first to his collection just to down tier, and he's probably going to draft a gazillion players, and hopefully some of them hits. So I feel like I like it more for Dom. I think Stroud's a little bit more like a lot more valuable than Lawrence at this point. Um, but same time, it was I guess tier down to get the first and Derner's first. I mean, I don't know if we're gonna talk about rankings or anything, but Derner's first could be pretty good next year.
Yeah, I think it has a lot of
I
potential.
I think it's got with what we saw in the draft and the trades that went down. I feel like there's a couple teams in the quote unquote competitive teams that could be on the out, and I think Derner's could be one of them.
Hey, we'll just segue right into this. Here is kind of just our lifetime rankings. You can start with I always leave this open ended. You can tell me about your outlook 2 years in, and then if you want to stick your flag in the ground and give your 7 playoff teams and all that kind of stuff, you're more than welcome here, buddy.
I always forget that Scro is so good in regular season. Good on Scro. I think Scro's. Oh god, my take is there's a lot of competitive teams now, man. I feel like we literally have 3 rebuilding teams, and I don't even think we can count Pipe yet because this team is actually pretty good. So it's going to be interesting to see what Pipe does. He doesn't need to rebuild, but if he wants that first of his to be somewhat good next year, he's got to do something. But I'm happy last year that I did what I did. Definitely don't know if that's going to be replicated this year. I hope Joe Rainville gets 2 wins this year. I wonder if it can happen.
He needs it. I mean,
I'm
I say jokingly. I think he's on the hot seat in the sense of like, at some point the future's you can have all the picks in the world. I think it's good to acquire picks, but like you said, he grabbed another one for Stroud.
I kind of always said
Drafted. Like he's got to kind of put some players
I,
out now too.
yeah. I kind of always thought Matt and him were close. I feel like Matt just took such a good leap with his draft this year, and then like Matt has a lot of picks too, so Matt can in theory draft a couple more, like a running back, and I forgot he got Drake May too, so if that works out, that's good on him. But yeah, I don't know what Joe's doing. I think he's literally got like 11 firsts in the next 2 years, so I don't know. We gotta see something. I'd like to see something. Um, so playoff teams. You Dom. So I think I'm gonna plant my flag on one team, and I think you kind of talked about it. I think he's gonna love this. Hopefully, he loves this. I think Teddy is a championship caliber dog this year. Um, I think his RBs are so good. Like I think for whatever reason, Jonathan Taylor is going to have a crazy, crazy back year. I think Saquon is going to finally be on a good team and is going to crush. Uh, quarterback should still be pretty good. I think Teddy has a championship caliber team. I think he could, if the cards fall right for him, could beat one of you two any given day in the chip. So Teddy, I'm gonna put Austin. I think Austin's team is still good. So that's 4. Oh, is JP I don't know if JP's a playoff team. He's got the running back depth.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a very different team than last year. He's not hoping veterans, keep producing. He's hoping that rookies that he drafted. I thought he had a pretty good draft.
I
Looked like
definitely,
rookies could
yeah.
perform right away.
This league is so competitive. It's crazy what 1 year just did. I feel like definitely you four. So you, Dom, Teddy. Oh God, you, Dom, Teddy. I'm gonna say Scro gets there. Austin, obviously. Man, do I think Caldera actually has the juice? I think his team is capable of it, but I feel like Kyron is such an important player for him this year.
Yeah,
Um,
he's got a few make or breaks, but yeah.
he's got a couple make or breaks. Wow, it's actually so. I don't want to. I'm not putting Durner. I'm not putting myself. Um, I mean, Chris has made some moves. I'm not putting Chris. Oh, but Pipe's rebuilding too now. Jesus Christ. All right, fuck it. You, Dom, Stro, Joe Caldera, Austin, Teddy, and then one more. I'm gonna put JP. I'm gonna put Prue. I think DJ
I think
Moore is
that's
gonna
what
have a
they've been very happy.
disgust. I think DJ Moore is disgusting this year, to be honest with you.
He's got a
Wait, who am
pretty
I missing out? Who are the good teams? So JP, Pipe, Chris, Durner, me, right? Those are the ones that could technically.
yes.
It depends what is. It depends. I don't know if Chris has an extra first. I could see Chris going after one of Pipe's guys. And I don't know if that puts him over. Um, I love Derrick Henry though, and David A. Chain.
Good combo.
I don't love that he has two
Yeah, he's got a big
Jacksonville
wide
Jaguar
receivers.
players on his team. Um, okay, I'm just gonna give it to. I'm gonna give it to Prue. I have no idea. It's this league is so competitive now. It's actually crazy.
It's good. A lot of people were concerned early on, but I mean,
Yeah, no, there's
it's been
literally
a couple
like
months.
three rebuilders.
So let's talk about you, buddy, because you were
Yeah.
the center of attention.
Yes,
Uh,
I was. Can we
we'll
put the
talk about.
blinders on? With blinders, we skip past.
We can't. I mean, I think Joe C was. I did this in my power rankings. Probably just needed a running back. Really was what he needed in this draft, and it wasn't the best running back draft. And you went out and gave him a pretty solid RB2. And
Yeah,
and now I'm concerned about you. I told you I'm stressed. So I know you're stressed.
definitely stressed.
You might be punting the first like 4 weeks of the season if he doesn't if Brooks doesn't play. I mean, what is your mindset here? What are we doing? Walk me through the
Um,
trade, how it happened. Just give me all of it.
do we want the Boyd trade or do we want the first the
We want the
20?
Brooks trade. That's why the people are here.
Yeah. I think it was just more of a caught in the moment thing, and I knew that I wasn't getting Brooks at the 8 because like I knew Billy was going. Well, obviously Billy wanted to trade the pick, but if he couldn't trade the pick, he was going to take Brian, and I knew Chris was not moving the 8. I knew Chris was going to take Brooks, and I probably should have just been okay with that and accepted it because this is truthfully the only team in my portfolio that I probably couldn't make that trade for. But I got it stuck in my head, and then Billy was like, "Yo, what about Swift in a first?" And I'm like, I never got a deal done with you. Like, fuck it. And I mean, we'll see what a year or a year and a half does. I have obviously planted my flag on Brooks. I think he's going to be an exceptionally good player. Um, I feel like Swift is just a guy at this point. Obviously, after the
Wow, that's
trade
gotta hurt me
happened.
to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be. Yeah, I mean, he's. If I had any depth at running back, I would have. I legitimately would trade Swift for 2 seconds, to be honest. And I just the trade doesn't hurt me. It's the fact that I was an idiot and I literally don't have depth at running back, and I have tried all season to get some lower end guys and couldn't get anything done. So I don't see how it's going to be easy for me to find an actual. Yeah, this trade is arguably even like worse than what I had originally thought, and like maybe you and everybody else are thinking this far, but when Chris and I were in the way home after Saturday, we were looking at the teams, and like I just did not realize how competitive the league was going to be. And now I feel like I just put myself in. I feel like I have to rebuild or like retool. Like that's kind of where I'm at right now. It's actually like terrible to think that way, but
Do you have your
if
first? At
I
26
do,
now?
I have my first,
You
so
have your 25 first? Okay.
yeah, I have yours as well. It's just, yeah, this is, I think I had potential to still be a back end playoff team if I kept Swift and just took
Yeah, who would you have
Trey
gone instead?
Benson.
Would you have gone Benson
It
or
had
Sanders?
to have been Brenson. I don't, this is another, I didn't love Benson as the prospect, and I think I was one of the few people that didn't. I don't know. He's literally behind Michael Carter on the depth chart right now for second string. I don't have the math, so I'm not speaking for facts here, but I just like he didn't get the workhorse role in college, and I just like wonder like how many running backs in the NFL get workhorse role if they didn't have the workhorse role in college, and then he's literally like I don't want to shit on Trey Benson because I think it's still a shitty trade for me, but I just think he doesn't have. I think he's DeAndre Swift poor man's version. So like I was like, is he even going to touch the field for me this year? Like I don't know. I don't know. It just comes down to I just like Brooks way more than him, but I really wanted Keon Coleman, but I knew I couldn't do it. So if I had running back depth, if I was able to trade for one, I would have taken Coleman instead. Which that sounds a lot. Swift and Coleman to me sounds a lot better than Swift and Benson, but
Agreed.
regardless, I think the trade was terrible for me, and I need to. I don't know. I have to talk to some guys. I'm in some talks for some extremely low end running backs just to get me through.
Zeke.
Yeah. But the problem is I don't even. We're at a problem now where like I feel like I might be the Teddy of last year. You know how Ted started out so shitty, and
Yeah,
like
Teddy
I
Bridgewater
feel like I
dropped
can't even
like
move.
2 weeks. Yeah.
I can't even move my set. I feel like I now need all my picks to like be prepared for that opportunity. So I don't even. I'm looking like I'm talking like third, like someone who can give me maybe 5 to 7 points a game. I think Prue wouldn't sell Zeke for more than. I think I would need to use a second for Zeke to be honest, because that's how annoying Prue is. But yeah, absolutely tragic trade for me, most likely. I mean, like there's a world where Jonathan Brooks is a fucking superstar, which I hope he is, but for right now, this trade was so bad. So bad.
Joe Rainville is notorious for selling guys for thirds who turn into gold. So,
Yeah, well, he's learned a little bit of that.
so to touch on that a little bit, what can we expect from you in 2024, Kyle?
I think I'm gonna be like realistically, I bet I'm a fringe like I'm outside the fringe playoff team. I'm probably like 5 or 6. Um, I don't know. The league is just so competitive, right? There's 3 bottom teams. I don't know what Pipe is doing after that trade, so it's hard for me to sit here and say I'm going to be better than Pipe because I think even without Amon Ra, he's still literally better than me. So he's unless he trades a bunch of guys, he's still going to be higher than me. Um, I think Durner. So yeah, this is my. I think Durner and I are the odd men out for sure this year. I think Durner had an opportunity to take a tight end at the 215, and he just like fucking
I
stared
was
at.
shocked by that. Yeah.
It made absolutely no sense why he didn't take Ben Sinnott there. Um, but I think Durner and I are going to be the cast outs right this year for the playoffs, and I'm absolutely preparing for that. I mean, we'll
What
see.
do you know Durner better than anyone probably in this league, arguably. What do you think he does with these players? Is he going to dig in? Is he going to buy somebody with his first? What do you think Durner's going to do?
I think he's digging in, to be honest. I tried getting Eckler. I was no good. He really wants a first for James Conner. He wants a first for Aaron Jones. He's just stingy in his ways, you know. And that's going to be very difficult. We have seen. Have we? Did Durner have a trade last year? Yeah, he had the trade for the tight end.
Yeah, I think it was
Um,
Bills. I don't remember anything else offhand.
I don't know. He's gonna have to. The problem is I don't think he cares enough to do all the work. So I think he's just gonna fucking ride into the sunset, and then I think each year he might try and use one of those firsts to grab a guy. So it could just be like 5 years of just old ass Turner trying to make the playoffs and failing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he's. I feel at this point I feel like he's more likely to sell CD than he is to sell his fucking old shitty running backs.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I'd love to buy one of them. Alvin Kamara, Turner, like talk to me, dog. Aaron Jones, talk to me, dog. I'm down. I'm down.
I was down. And then, so, what are your closing thoughts here? Do you have any call outs? Do you want to call anyone out, like for a trade? Say anything. What do you want to
Oh,
say
I
to
wouldn't
them?
mind. Let's touch on the draft a little bit. Can we go through the first round quick? Say if we liked it, like the pick or not.
Yeah, give me a second.
You have
I
time
will
for that?
pull it up. Yeah. While
I
I'm
thought.
pulling up, spitball anything you want right now.
Okay. Uh, Billy B, you're a handsome guy. Pipe, you're also a handsome guy. Like you a lot. Um, Matt, I loved your 101 trade. Dom, I also loved your 101 trade. Um, ooh, Chris, let's touch on Chris. What are we thinking? Do we, you are the recipient of the Derrick Henry trade, but do you like what he's doing? Do you believe in what he's doing? Do you think it's okay or no?
I'll start by saying I know the league does not like what he's doing in the sense that they think he's being really stupid. I think if his sole purpose is to fuck over Joe Rainville and like do that, it's 100% sunk cost fallacy. As I love to say, as Matt said, I mean, if that's what he's going for, it just makes all of his previous trades considerably worse. If he really feels like he can make the playoffs and like do something in the playoffs, then I think those kind of trades are fine. But
Um,
if he's just like, otherwise it's Chaz logic where he traded his first to get Hawkinson to hopefully win the toilet bowl. It's like you're just setting yourself back for very short term games, I guess. But if he feels like his team is going to actually, make the playoffs and that's what he's going for, you can't really knock necessarily the value of what he's given up, if that makes sense.
yeah. Yeah. I don't blame him. I don't know. I kind of talked about it in the group chat. I feel like it's his trades now are just kind of being shit on because of what has happened. But like, I feel like the Derrick Henry trade was actually like fine. I think you got good value from Pipe for him, and I think you know he's probably worth a late first. I think he's really good this year, and
Yeah, to touch on that a little bit, I bought both Derrick Henry and Mike Williams with the aspirations that they would land somewhere favorable and I could sell them for a tiny bit more than what I bought. So I got Henry for the 2 seconds. I was hoping he'd go somewhere like, exactly where he went, the Ravens. It kind of sucked to trade him because I think he would have been awesome in a 1 year
well,
cycle,
yeah,
but
yeah,
without picks, my mindset, and it's the same thing with Tyreek Hill. I don't think selling Tyreek Hill makes me better this year, even though Amon's really good. I think I lose a little bit of a ceiling.
yeah. You do. You
But
probably do. Yeah,
my mindset is if I don't have the firsts, I have to like kind of pick my spots and sell guys for younger players uh, to offset not having picks. But I think Derrick Henry going to the Ravens made him more valuable, and
it did. Yeah,
that's just kind of the gamble I took. So yeah, I don't think he overpaid. I think people just
people don't enjoy.
pushing the envelope a little bit. I
People
guess.
don't like people trading with you specifically, and I just, yeah, I think it's if Chris, to your point, I think you're right to what you said. I think if Chris is quite literally doing this just to fucking shit on Rainville, this is probably a pretty ass situation he's in. But I mean, he drafted guys I like. His team has gotten. I think his team is better than mine at this point. I mean, his quarterback situation sucks, but um, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. Would I have done what he did if I had his situation? I'm not sure, but I know if someone had my 25 first and I watched them get the 101 or 2 with it, I would be so unhappy.
Yeah, you saw what
So
happened at 10. It's definitely
yeah, and it's
depressing.
if even if Chris doesn't make the playoffs, he's probably got enough roster points where he's probably the 106, 107 maybe, or 105. So that seems just better in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if what he gave up. He gave up oh, he gave up pipes 25. Wow, that aged poorly. Um
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think for that to have aged poorly and like have a chance at a lottery,
Pipe needs a
it had to be
really
pipe. It had to be pipe like getting it back.
now.
Like yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah. At the
that's kind of
time,
hindsight.
we all assumed Pipe was a for sure playoff team. Um yeah, I don't know what Chris still has left, but I think he still has something. No, I personally, which I don't, I know Chris watches, and I think we talked about it. I just don't know why he didn't go to you for like the 112. I feel like Pipe's pick probably would have been better than the 112 this year, so I was interested by that personally. But other than that, I don't really care that much.
Yeah, I think people were surprised because they were like asking about that deal. I think people were surprised more people come to me with offers or asking about my players, and I think people think I'm just texting people nonstop. And a lot of the times nowadays, when I get a deal done, it's when someone comes to me. So yeah, Chris texted me, he asked the price, and I said a late first, and that's exactly what he gave me. So it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes down to what's your thoughts on Derrick Henry. I personally think Derrick Henry is going to be on like maybe not yardage king, but I think he is going to have an awesome season.
Yeah, and okay, I have the draft pulled up.
Let's do a quick
I don't think
rundown.
you can see it, but I will read off the pick
Well,
and
I
the
can.
player, and
Yeah,
like if
hold
you
up.
want to say, if you want to give like a grade,
Let me get the
yeah,
draft
I'll
results.
do
I
that.
can do it real quick.
Okay, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean it's interesting because Chris is definitely doing the opposite of Pipe, like they're on two ends of the spectrum, and I think you're always going to get hate on both sides. Um, I think it's easy to hate something in the moment, but you kind of have to. I mean, look at what Drescher did last year with like Mostert. You kind of just have to see how it plays out. Obviously, all we can do is speculate, but before you can give a
Um,
definitive answer, you got to see it play out.
I the last thing touch on this. I respect stamping your foot down and wanting to do something. I'll say that. I think he's made it. People shouting over him, so they're not. But like Chris doesn't want to suck anymore, and like we pay a lot of money to play these every year. So I don't blame him for not. I respect him trying to do something, and Rainville's over there yapping. Rainville could do something too, but he's sitting on 12 fucking 26, 25, and 27 first. So, whenever Rainville's time to shine, we're going to see how that comes.
Yeah, I will just say I think it's very easy for people not in trades. As someone who gets flack for every trade I make, especially like those rebuilders who are very down in the dumps, it's very easy for them to hate on every trade when you're not making trades and just
Yeah, you're not mate. Yeah.
Austin is very loud. He's very ugly. He no showed the draft. It hurts when he pees. Not a good
Yep.
guy. Not a good champion. But he takes his swings. So therefore, when he pipes up like he's known to do, I kind of have a little bit more respect than the guy just sitting in the shadows hating on everything. So I will say that.
Yeah. All right. Let's do 101. I think it's good for both sides. I like it better for Matt just because of his situation. Um,
Give each like draft pick like a grade, like A plus, that kind of B. You know what I mean?
I'll say okay. So since we had two people involved, I'll give Dom the A. I still think this is awesome for Dom. I'm gonna give it for S for Matt just because I just think this helps his rebuild a lot better than Brees for sure. Uh, Neighbors A. That was fine for Billy B. Made sense. I'm surprised he even took or listened to offers. I'm gonna give S for Matt. I think O'Dunes is fucking awesome. Bowers. What do we do with Bowers? I feel like this had to be the pick. It just kind of hurts, right? Just because of I just feel like the 4 was so shit this year, and
Yeah, it
Drescher
looked
wasn't there
good,
to
but then
trade
when
it.
he landed, so I
His
mean,
land, and then and it's the best pick. I'm not gonna give it a bad pick, but like I don't even know if he starts over Evan Ingram for Drescher this year, to be honest. I'm gonna
I
give it
don't
like a
know.
B plus. 5 Billy B. Lad McConkey. Uh, I'm on Dom's side of the Makaki train. I think I would much rather have the other two. I respectfully be wanting to get the link up. I'm gonna give it like a C. Um, Chris Worthy instead of Brian Thomas. Oh, it's kind of crazy. I think so. Brian Thomas is interesting. I thought we all were under the assumption that he was like ahead, and that clearly that was not the case though. I didn't realize how
Yeah, I thought
valuable.
he was going 5 all
So like
day.
I and Juicers traded back to Brooks, but that's just because I like Brooks more. I think Brian Thomas should be ahead of both of them, like pretty clearly at this point. Um, so I know
I
it ended
thought
up.
Brian Thomas was the like clear 105,
Yeah,
and like I kind of wanted to. My original goal, just to get a touch on this really quick, I had offered when Skro was coming to me for Tyreek Hill, I offered Caldera Christian McCaffrey for the 5 and 7, and my thought process was BTJ and Brooks, but he never really replied to that. So
yeah. So I'm shocked. See, it's hard to give it a bad grade because like I like Worthy more than McConkey, and I think Chris got Worthy still and Brian, so like it's not bad. I'll just give it a B. I think in reality, Brian should have went there. Brooks trade we've gone over. Absolute F grade trade for your boy. F for failure. Um, so the Brian Thomas trade's interesting now that we're on it, right? Because in theory, this was the S trade because this happened with Zay Flowers and me last year, right? The value just fell to a certain point.
yeah,
But let's touch on this a little bit, right? So Joe Caldera or Caldera, Rain Man offered him 2 firsts straight up. Um,
yeah, which is pretty crazy. I thought that was a
that
good offer.
at least for like what we've seen from Chris with these last couple deals, I kind of liked it better just because he could then in theory go trade one of those first for Cup, and then he just has a future first to like quote unquote rebuild with if never worked out. So I liked that. And then so you kind of talked to me a little bit about the 7. You said probably. Did you actually offer him Zay straight up? Like, were you gonna do that?
I would have done Zay straight up, and I would have done Pipes 25 and Ridley is kind of where I was at. Those were my 2 offers, and I was good with either.
I feel like the Zay Flower was the play there. Chris likes the upside. I respect the upside of Brian Thomas, but like, I mean, we saw Zay. Like Zay's good. He's a rookie. He's good. Like, I feel like there's an outcome where Zay Flowers is like 1,000, 1,100 yard guy, 6, 7 touchdowns, and like that. He's a young guy on Chris's team putting up points, and then to like add the fact that he literally has Christian Kirk, who he like loves. It just doesn't make sense that he went with Brian Thomas. So it's an S pick, but like I think it would have been smart for Chris to move it. Um, Caleb Williams at 9. Prue was it's never fun taking a quarterback early, but like Prue literally needed a quarterback. Benson, A pick. B pick. I think the Coleman trade for Prue was really good. I think it was an A pick.
I
I
think
think.
he got the best of Drescher. We have argued a lot about it in text. Like I said to everyone, I was cracking up because I was pretty drunk by that point. Austin was like telling me to speed up the draft, and all these things, and I was just being a degenerate and typing stinky trade in caps over and over again. But he really likes Myers as a depth piece. He didn't want Coleman, I guess, but I mean, Jacoby Myers, I'm not really convinced is worth any more than the premium third that he gave up because he gave up Brian's third next year. I mean, I know thirds like they can be memed on. They have some value. Like I'm not gonna argue the value. I think he gave up 3 spots to move back and got nothing in terms of value add, which is kind of insane. And he also didn't get the luxury of just like I know he wanted a few guys there and he is happy with Daniels, but I'd rather just pick who I am most confident in instead of letting other people make the choice for me.
Yeah, I think Keon had a little bit of hate there because we had downtime and but we're like seeing. I know training camp is also worthless, but like he can catch balls, man. And like he's a Buffalo Bill and they don't have a lot of options there. So, if Keon Coleman actually does work out, like that's a really fucking good pick for Prue. And I think it was a no-brainer for Prue as well. So yeah, I'm gonna give Prue the S there. I think that was a really good pick. Chris went with the 112 at Pearsall. 12's hard. Ricky Pearsall. I personally think Ricky Pearsall and Leggett are the two options there. It's hard to choose. The one has a little bit more upside, but he's potentially worse player. Pearsall has a gazillion people in front of him. Chris was trying to trade it to Pipe. It sounds like for Cooper Kupp. Surprise, Pipe didn't do that. To be honest with you,
He
as a
still
as a
might, but I think because of I think he's more likely to do a deal like that now than he was.
yeah, it makes sense now. I'm surprised I wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens because he's a San Fran fan, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Billy
that's fair.
B. So I'll give I don't know, I don't want to say we'll just say B plus, I don't care. AD Mitchell, I think this is literally like C minus shit. I can't believe AD Mitchell is going in the 113. That makes no sense. I think it's terrible pick from Caldera. I'm glad he got shafted after he shafted me. Um I mean, Jaden Daniels, fine, whatever. He doesn't have a backup quarterback, does he? Do we know?
No, he doesn't. So
So whatever.
that's what he wanted to get out of this draft. And then not pictured here, the last pick of the first round, I guess is technically Marshawn Lloyd, or you
All
could
right,
call it Leggett. I
we're
guess you can just touch on all three of those at once.
yeah, we'll give Marshawn Lloyd a nice F for Brian. Sorry. I think Leggett is a really good pick though.
There's no way he's gonna think that you don't hate him.
Brian, I don't hate you. I think it's not. I think Leggett's a really good pick, and I think Corum is a good pick too. Like I personally think Blake Corum should be like ahead of Trey Benson. That's how much I don't like Trey Benson. So I like the Blake Corum pick. I just think like, although I will say, actually, I'm not going to give it an F. I'm going to give it a D just because of where you had to take him. I actually think Marshawn, and I know you disagree. I think Marshawn Lloyd is going to actually have some value in fantasy. I just don't know if he should like for Brian, like taking Jalen Polk just because he has literally nothing on his team made a little bit more sense. But yeah, Brian,
I
you
think
did a
he
good
can
job.
have value. It's just we saw the same kind of thing with AJ Dillon, and I think I'm just very high on Josh Jacobs.
Yeah. Yeah, the one like realistically, Marshawn Lloyd, like in terms of ADP, is like going way behind Jalen Wright. So like Marshawn Lloyd at like the 2.6 to the 2.10 makes a little bit more sense. But I think the Xavier Legette pick was for sure an A. I think the Blake Corum pick's probably an A. Matt taking Drake May, I really liked it, so that's an A. I like Drake May a lot, and Matt doesn't have a QB, so it's fine. I think the Jalen Polk pick saved me from the cutting my wrist, so I think that's an A.
We don't condone hard self
I
harm on this
really,
podcast.
really like Jalen Polk, and Don was talking to me a little bit about his Brees Hall prior, and it sounded like Matt was potentially going to give him the 2-3, and I knew Dom was going to go Polk at 2-3, so I was so upset. So I didn't know that Dom didn't get the 203 and that he got the 205. So I was so fucking happy I was able to get Jalen Polk there. I was talking to Pipe and I were talking about the 204 for Tajay Spears, which I liked, but Pipe got like I love Pipe and I'm down to trade with Pipe, but it always turns out in like it was originally 204 for Spears, and then it ended up he was like, wait, what about that? And it turned into me giving up the 204 and Drake London for like in an extra second for like trade. It turned into some like crazy shit. I'm like, dude, nah, I'm just gonna take my guy. Burton was an A. Troy Franklin at that high? Is that I would take Roman Wilson over him. Troy Franklin's a C. Luke McCaffrey is a D. Roman Wilson for Prue, A. I think that's a fucking awesome pick. Can't bet against. Although wait, the draft pick was an A, but I don't know if you know this, but he just got carted off. Yeah. So we're not going to discount that. That's unfair to Prue, but I still think the pick was good. Jalen Wright, B. Bucky Irving. That's a fine pick. That's whatever. C. All right, the rest doesn't matter. But yeah, I think the first and second's fine.
If you had to just pick, we're gonna put you on the spot. What is your favorite pick of the third round? Like, I hate
Okay,
to say
yeah.
it, it's the whole Puka thing, but if like some or Tank Dell, but if like you look at the third round, which one of these guys are you like? I actually think he could be pretty decent.
Well, where'd Ben Sinnott go?
He went at the 216, I believe. I believe Brian took
Ah,
him at the 216, so right after.
okay, so that doesn't count for third. Macmillan. I Dresser's onto something, low key. I think Macmillan will actually be a good NFL football player. To the point where I think I was a strong believer in Chris Godwin, and I feel like he might have something to say about that. So Dresser with Macmillan.
Yeah, there's one thing I want to say. You know, this is your podcast. As someone who has been a habitual, like I always sell my picks. Looking at A.D. Mitchell, Sanders, and Theo Johnson as my picks makes me feel really good. At least for this
Yeah,
year.
how does that make you
You know
fucking
what I
feel?
mean?
Absolute dog shit.
I like Sanders actually a lot, but like I don't even care. Like I don't have any. I don't know. That's just like crazy to me to look at it, and that's the first thing that came to my mind. But
Yeah, so for all of you people, including myself, with these late picks, consider that. Like what the fuck is AD Mitchell, man? And like, I'm not saying if you like the guy, that's fine, but like he's got two RB1s ahead of him. He has a known pass catching target monster ahead of him, and I mean, people are just discounting Josh Downs right now. Josh Downs had legitimately 850 yards last year. Like
yeah, he was really
80
good.
80 Mitchell has a lot ahead of him for him to become like a seriously relevant player. Like I can see 80 Mitchell being like the path like where JMO is on, where like people
Oh,
respect JMO and they think he's a valuable player, but like he's just constantly having to catch 10 balls for 90 yards and touchdown, hopefully. And I don't know if that's what this team's got.
yeah, it'll be interesting with Richardson, and then I guess we'll cap it off with. I mean, you kind of already touched on this, but like, what would you say is your favorite pick of the draft? And then what would you be like? This was, I have to give this the worst pick of the draft, and it can be anything
Mine
on the
was
board.
okay. Mine was the worst pick of the draft by far. Um.
Let's take the trade out of it. So let's just pretend that the trade didn't happen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
That way,
okay. So yeah,
I'll
because
make it
I
even out, so you don't have to hate on yourself too much.
okay, yeah. Like I
Just
actually like
strictly
Brooks
pick for
personally.
pick. Yeah, yeah, pick for pick.
Um. So I'm not okay. Yeah, it's just a player, right? Not the.
Yeah, just
I
like
think
where the
Keon
player
Cole.
went on the board.
Oh man, that's a good. Keon Coleman. I really just liked it for Prue. Oh man. Although technically Brian Thomas is a super super value right there.
He got both of them. I mean, props to Prue. I think he had a very good weekend.
Yeah, he did. Prue had a good
When
weekend.
I was drunk, every time I saw that belly, I
Yeah.
laughed hysterically and I felt bad about it. But
You know what's mad funny is when he was sitting on the beach. It was me, you, and him, and he was telling me while you were there that I'm a big crumble guy, and
yeah,
this motherfucker, I'm not Joe. Within 24 hours, he sends the menu to our group chat and is talking about crumble, and I'm like, you're
oh,
such a
that's
fat
so
fuck. I
funny.
hate you. Yeah, but Prue does very well in those in-person pressure situations so far.
He
Like
does.
last year, he did the same thing. So yeah, Prue had a really good
Almost both.
draft.
He had the Will Levis deal. Oh, let's talk about that really quick at the end. Oh, we'll go to that after. Actually, I'll let you pick your first and worst.
Okay, who do I? So I'm just talking what player at what position. Um,
Yeah, just on the board, irrelevant to any trades, like the pick that you're like, yeah, I think that's the worst. You messed up.
okay, so ah, oh man, do I see? I'm such a hater of Mitchell, but like I think Brian. I think the trade. I'm gonna give it to Brian. I don't hate you, please. I don't hate you, but like you're literally rebuilding the worst team ever, and you went with a pretty sketchy running back at the 115 when there's like a gazillion wide receivers available. It's probably the worst pick of the draft. Um, I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to Prue. I'm gonna give it to Prue with
best.
Keon
Okay.
for best. Yeah, I think Keon Coleman I just think him being able to move up for nothing. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I like that. I like Keon Coleman for Prue a lot. And Brian, you and Caldera are tied for worst.
All right, and then yeah, I forgot this happened until we talked about Prue. What did you think about that Jordan Love deal to kick off draft day? I'll give you a little context.
Yeah, what's the
Uh,
context here?
I had wanted Jordan Love for a very long time.
So wait, so actually, I'm gonna have you tell me if I'm wrong. I was told via Prue that that Brian was trying to give you Jordan Love. Is that a fact? And he was
I
trying to talk to both of you.
Okay, so this is kind of how Brian has been listing Jordan Love on the trade block for a while, and I've been offering my 27 first for a while. Basically, I've been offering what I gave up: the 27 first, the third, and Russ, which I think is fair value. I don't necessarily think Brian needed to trade him, but because he wanted to trade him, I think he got good return in my opinion. Um, but basically, because I wanted Jordan Love and he wanted to get off Jordan Love, he knew he had my first in the bag, and he was kind of shopping him to like Matt and JP. So it's not that he like was trying to give me Jordan Love. It just like he liked my offer and was trying to see what else was out there to like see if it was a good deal. You know what I mean? Like he was doing his due diligence, and then we agreed to it in principle that we would do it on the draft day. Brian said he didn't want to do it until the draft day, and was like, "That's fine." Chris texts me as I'm on my way to the second baby appointment, and he's texting me about Derrick Henry, and I'm like, damn, that's a really good deal. I wanted to wait until after me and Brian did the deal because I knew Brian was going to immediately ask for the 25 first. That's how I got
Yeah,
the
yeah.
third from Chris, because I was like, if I do this now, um, I know this person, this other deal, they're going to ask for that. And so I could have waited on the Derrick Henry trade, but I knew Chris was offering that first to other people, and I was like, you know what, man, I like that value a lot. Fuck it. Like if I lose Love, I lose Love. Like whatever. So that's exactly what happened. The second after the trade, Brian's like, you give me that 25 first, I'll do the deal now. And I was like, nope, I'll wait 2 days. He ends up rejecting the trade on Friday before the draft, and he's saying if Jordan Daniels falls to him, he'll do the trade. And that's when me and Prue went up to the draft together, and he mentioned that, or Brian told me somehow Will Levis came up, and I texted Brian and I was like, if I get you Will Levis, will you give me Jordan Love? And he's like, what does that mean? And I just told him, Brian, I'm gonna show you. And then I just orchestrated that 3-team deal. So yeah, that is the long-winded story of how it happened.
So yeah, clearly Brian likes Will Levis. Is that what that's kind of what I take from that.
Yeah, I think he likes him for the low cost of investment. That trade was a fucking nightmare because Brian and Prue were arguing over who gets the third and who gets the fourth. So like I send the deal on the app, Brian accepted. Prue's like, no, I want the third, so I switch it. Then Brian's like, no, I'm not doing it if I don't get the. You know what I mean? So it's like
So Prue gave up Will
Prue gave
Levis.
up
He
Will Levis,
got a
and he got
213
yep,
and Russell Wilson.
and the 405.
So so he got the 405, which I don't even know what that is, but so Jatavian Sanders and Russ for Will Levis. Like, yeah, I kind of like it for Prue. I mean, I like it for you the most. I mean, you got the best player in the deal, but I don't know. Yeah, to your point, quarterbacks. It's hard to. I don't know. Quarterbacks are just. This league has had a lot of quarterback trades that, it's one QB. They're so valued so highly, but you can only start one and yada yada yada. So like value is probably fine. I just
My biggest thing was if Hertz went down mid-season,
no,
which
yeah,
I
you
hope he
needed
doesn't,
a
but like the cost of what like everyone, because of who I am, if Hurts was hurt and I needed a quarterback, I'm gonna
yeah,
get
you wouldn't
armed
get one.
arm in a fucking leg if I even
Yeah,
get
you
one.
wouldn't get
I
anything.
don't think
Yeah,
anyone would even give me one unless it's like a Kirk Cousins for like a first, like an objectively awful deal. So I tried to like jump the gun over the next like 5 years. I'll just be set.
yeah, and yeah. I mean, if Jordan Love is like, I mean, I think Jordan Love's a superstar. So that's where I'm just upset from. That's just my opinion. I think Jordan Love's fucking awesome, and he just got paid, and Brian took a crappy 27th pick, and I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think it's fine for all of you. I think
I was surprised he didn't get any better offers from like Matt
well,
or
that's why it's hard to complain because
I know Matt offered like the 203, but it was a while ago, so I don't know if he actually still would have like done it.
so maybe I'm way higher on Jordan Love than everybody else because I think Jordan Love is a fucking superstar, to be honest. And
I hope he is as a Packer fan. Him being a Packer is mostly what drove me like wanting to
yeah.
get the deal.
So I mean, maybe Brian got best value. I mean, so if that's the case, then fuck yeah, good for Brian. Brian's kind of getting to the point similar to Joe Rainville, where like, see, Brian's got nothing. Joe Rainville has like 10 picks. I don't know.
Brian has
Sometimes you just
definitely
kind
dealt a way worse hand. So,
yeah,
I,
yeah. So Brian's trying to deal with what he has. At some point though, I just think keeping good players is good. Although, how long is Brian gonna take to get good is the question. So, is that 3 years when Jordan Love's 30 years old, kind of a deal. So I don't know. I thought it was fine to be honest. I actually thought it was fine. I know I did. I shit on all of you for in that league. I don't know. I probably did,
no,
but
you just said a 7 a.m. 3-team trade is
it's crazy.
insane.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Okay,
we went to
yeah.
bed and
Okay, I
Brian
was
was ready
trolling
for
slightly.
yeah, and then like I was like so motivated to get that deal done. I was like, I knew Brian was up early, and then he had to go do like he was gonna rep, so I knew he was gonna be busy, and I was like, Prue, just like don't. We were me and Prue shared the king bed, and I just looked at him, and I was like, let's not fucking. This deal is not about the fourth and the third. Like you're getting a second. That's the point. You're getting Russ. Like let's not lose the
Yeah,
deal over that. And
yeah. That's
Prue
crazy.
came around.
No, yeah, good. Yeah, Prue's such a weirdo with those thirds and shit. That was a good trade. I think you got the best player of the draft. You do need a backup quarterback. To your point, you will probably not get one from anybody if you were to have a problem. I actually, from a value, I like it for. See, it's hard now that we have players on the board. Like, I don't fucking like Jatavian Sanders at all. So that's where I struggle with the 207, but the 212. But I liked it. I like the trade for Prue. Brian got the first, so I trust. I mean, Brian's a known deal maker, so I trust Brian to move around a little bit when that time comes for him.
It's definitely been really cool to see Brian come in and kind of
That's
stand his
yeah,
mark. He makes a lot of moves. He doesn't really fuck around too
yeah.
much, and
We'll
I
give
think
that.
it's pretty cool.
I'll give that to Brian. Like he's kind of low key I mean, Dresser's a really good fantasy football player. We all shit on him, but he is really good and he did some really good shit. But that all stemmed from him doing stuff, and Brian does stuff. So, regardless, like I fucking hated his Nico trade, but he's willing to move. So, when that time comes for him to move his first, I see him actually doing it and going to get guys that he wants, and maybe his team will be a lot better sooner than we think.
I think it'll be cool to see.
Yeah. Whereas, I love Joe Rainbow obviously, but I see him literally sitting and drafting 10 fucking rookies in 25 and 26.
He might run out of taxi squad spots, which is like crazy.
Yeah, yeah. And and the league is just getting harder and harder I don't know, the league just seems so hard to trade for certain things and like I don't know. It's going to be hard for it's like it's going to come down to a point where Rainville's people are going to be like, "Yo, you have 10 first, like give me 4 for this guy." And it's going to come down to that for him and he's going to be like, "Fuck, what do I do?" kind of I don't know. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Good pod.
Yeah,
Any
hopefully
closing
the
thoughts?
boy. Now I love this league.
Hey, we love having you here.
We
Thanks
love
for
I
that, buddy.
love this league. I hope just I want you all to know if I start out 0 and 2 or 0 and 3, we're shipping shit off, so be prepared.
Heard it here first.
Yep. Oh yeah. If I'm gonna fucking rebuild in 25, I'm fucking doing it. Fuck it.
I like it.
All right.